Good afternoon, and thank you so much for your interest in the 2026 ABC NSC Soundwaves Gallery. Glad to have so many people here today. My name is Annie Brocious, and I'm the program manager at the Arts and Business Council of Greater Nashville. And with me today is Jonathan Harwell-Dye, our Director of Programs. And we're here to answer any questions that you may have and fill you in on this great partnership that we have with Nashville Soccer Club and GEODIS Park. The Arts and Business Council of Greater Nashville, we are an independent local nonprofit organization with a mission to leverage and unite the unique resource of these arts and business communities to create a thriving, sustainable, creative culture in Nashville. We do this in part by offering direct services, key opportunities, educational workshops, as well as programs like Periscope Artist Entrepreneur Training and Fiscal Sponsorship, all of which support artists in building and sustaining their creative businesses. We also offer pro bono legal and professional support for artists and arts nonprofits through our Volunteer Lawyers and Professionals for the Arts program, VLPA. This includes quarterly free legal clinics, as well as our annual pro bono tax clinic coming up in January, offering appointments with tax preparers and financial counselors. We're putting links up into the chat for you, and we'll provide these afterwards as well. And finally, we create mutually beneficial partnerships between the arts and business communities through programs like Arts Board Matching, our Creative Advantage Corporate Training Suite, and through project management partnerships like we have with the Nashville Soccer Club. They are Nashville's major league soccer club established in 2020. At that point, we established a relationship with the Nashville Soccer Club. They reached out to us to help them with various arts initiatives, including murals and artwork within the stadium, and also the Soundwaves Gallery, which is located on the second floor suite section of the stadium. GEODIS Park serves not only as the home of the boys in gold, but also as a cultural hub synced with the heartbeat of the city. Art activations inside and outside the stadium amplify the voices of Nashville-based artists, capturing Nashville's creativity and celebrating the intersection of sports and art in our community. This is the 5th year that we have partnered with NSC on the Soundwaves Gallery. Each year we select works exclusively from artists in Nashville and surrounding communities to display in the VIP Suites corridor at GEODIS Park for the full duration of the NSC season. The pieces can be purchased at the online shop located at abcnashville.org and linked to on NSC's website, where anyone can purchase works from the gallery. For the 2026 gallery, most mediums are acceptable, including but not limited to painting, photography, textiles, fiber, mixed media, block and screen printing, etc. Select artwork must be two-dimensional and intended for hanging on a wall. We are not able to accommodate freestanding sculptural or other three-dimensional works. Accepted artwork must be delivered ready to hang, meaning that the artwork must arrive with suitable hanging equipment attached, hanging wire or D-rings preferred. Artwork delivered without suitable hanging equipment may be excluded from the gallery. Framed works should be in simple black, white, or wooden frames. Unframed works are acceptable, like, for instance, canvases, so long as the art is ready to hang and appropriate for display without a frame. When submitting, please be sure to include the final outside dimensions, including the frame, as this is critical to our being able to determine where they can be positioned in the gallery. Each work must be no larger than 6 feet tall or 6 feet wide and must not impede on the walking area. The corridor is just that, a wide hallway, as demonstrated by this drawing on here. The pieces are mounted on the wall and can't be set on the floor. We don't want to risk your piece being damaged by passersby. On the application, we ask that you provide the retail price for your piece. For this exhibit, we will accept pieces with a retail price up to $1,500. Should your piece be accepted into the gallery, the price that you indicated on your submission form will be what is displayed on the gallery signage and the online shop as the final retail price to the customer. So don't do any sort of math in determining, wholesale, retail, what your cut will be, etc. Tell us the retail price. That should include everything. So $1,500. The exhibition theme for the 2026 season is Global Voices, Local Heart, which celebrates the people, stories, and community spirit at the core of Nashville's creativity, while recognizing our place within the worldwide community united through soccer. The works may be pre-existing or created new for the purposes of this exhibition. The works should not use any of NSC's or its affiliates' trademarks, logos, service marks, symbols, trade names, or other intellectual property for any purpose whatsoever without the team's prior written consent. That includes signage for GEODIS Park as well. And I wanted to give you an idea of the space that we're working with. The gallery is the suites corridor. It's accessed on either end of the hallway. And this is the entrance once the people get out of the elevator up to the suites. And this is an example of the signage that we have, and it's located at either end of the hallway and includes the gallery description and a list of all of the artists. As you can see, this is not a very big space. It is a long space, but once you get people in there looking around, we want to make sure that the artwork is safe and against the walls. There are open walls, but there are also windows, doors, and beams that break up the space. Like you can see that there's some outcroppings over in this section here. And there's a window over in here in this spot. And it presents challenges, but also opportunities to display different sizes and shapes of works. Note over here that there's the outcroppings again. Here's a doorway, for example. And there's some structural beams that actually do present a pretty interesting way to display artwork. So this piece was actually one of those large 6-foot wide pieces, and this is an example of some of the smaller pieces that have been featured in the past. So with regard to compensation, here's the breakdown. There is no cost to submit your work. There will be a 70-30 split between the artist and the NSC. So regardless of whether or not the piece sells, the artist will receive 10% upfront as a rental fee. This will be mailed within 8 weeks of the gallery install. And then for each piece sold, the artist will receive the remaining 60% of the retail price. So the artist will ultimately receive a total of 70% of the retail price if it sells. If the piece does not sell, the work will be returned to the artist at the end of the season, and the artist keeps that 10% rental fee. We will not take that back. And on here, I have a little bit of an example on here. So let's say you indicate to us that the retail price is $1,000. $100 will be paid to the artist upfront as the rental fee, and you keep that no matter what, whether it sells or not. If it sells, you will then receive the remaining $600, which is a total of $700. If the work does not sell, the artist keeps the rental fee and the piece is returned after the conclusion of the season. And the season runs from February 2026 through December 2026. So that's gives you a good timeline. Well, sometimes it could be November, December, depending on how the season goes, whether they go to the playoffs, et cetera. This year, for instance, they were in the playoffs rather late, so we did kept the gallery open. And just again, that because it is featured in the gallery, the NSC retains limited image rights are granted to NSC so they can promote the gallery and your work. You can reach the application 2 different ways. It can be accessed either through the Arts and Business Council's website, abcnashville.org, on our Opportunities Hub, which is abcnashville.org/opportunities. That is where we post calls for art and job opportunities provided and volunteer opportunities provided to us by our members. Or you can go directly through submittable.com at abcnashville.submittable.com/submit. If you don't already have an account with Submittable, you will need to create an account. It's a free account, and it gives you access to calls for art. So the application begins by asking a series of questions so that we may collect contact and demographic information. This information is requested to track the impact and outcomes of our programs for grants, funders, and to improve internal processes and programs. Next, you'll be asked to upload a PDF of your CV or artistic resume. And then you'll need to provide your artist bio, telling us more about you, your creative practice, and your experience with galleries, exhibitions, and art shows. If your work is selected, the artist bio will be published on the GEODIS Park website to promote your participation in the gallery and also used in promotional materials. So please be mindful of that requested 150-word limit. As for your actual artwork submissions, you may submit up to 5 different pieces for consideration. Each submission must include the title, medium, dimensions, and suggested retail price. Again, we want those final frame dimensions so that we can gauge where and if it can fit into the gallery space. A narrative about the work, including how it relates to the exhibition theme Global Voices, Local Heart, celebrating the people's stories and community spirit at the core of Nashville's creativity, while recognizing our place within the worldwide community through united through soccer. If the piece is selected, this description that you provide will be published on the online gallery, and the gallery placards in the physical gallery will have a QR code that links to that description. So again, please be mindful of the content and of the 150 word limit. And each submission can include a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 5 images of the piece. So the first image should be a clear front image of the piece, the best representation that you can possibly provide to us. And then we appreciate, if you'd like to include more photos of that particular piece, we appreciate any details that you can include to demonstrate your technique and your materials. And finally, we ask you to agree to a certain number of certifications at the bottom. So you'll be required to certify that the statements made in your submission form are true and correct to the best of your knowledge, and the artwork submitted are created by you, the applicant. Any false statement or misrepresentation of your artwork will disqualify you from the call for art. You agree that the pieces submitted will be available to be installed in GEODIS Park at the end of January in 2026 and sold exclusively for the duration of the time it is part of the exhibition. So once your piece is accepted and placed into the exhibition, it cannot be removed until the end of the season. And that you understand the retail price you provided for your piece is final. And if the piece is accepted, that price will be the price printed on the gallery placards and listed on the online gallery and may not change. By submitting your application, you understand the piece is accepted for placement in the gallery or remain again in GEODIS Park until after the Nashville Club season has ended through December 2026. And finally, by submitting your portfolio, you agree to abide by the decision of the curatorial committee, and all the decisions of the curatorial committee, Arts and Business Council of Greater Nashville, and the Nashville Soccer Club are final. Artwork submissions are due Monday, January 5th at noon. Please note the submittable.com will automatically shut down submissions at 11:59 a.m. Central Time. As is the case with all submission portals and online forums, it's best practice not to wait till 11:58, 11:59 to hit that button. The files are large, network speeds vary, and clocks can vary sometimes too. Don't risk waiting to the last moment or you'll risk not getting through to us. If you have any questions at all, you can reach out to us at info@abcnashville.org. Submissions will be evaluated by a curatorial committee composed of curatorial experts along with NSC stakeholders that will select the final works for display. The committee will confirm the submission meets all of the basic criteria in the call for art, that the artist is a current resident of Nashville or surrounding areas, the price of the piece, size of the piece, and our ability to display the piece properly within the space. The committee is going to consider the overall quality of the work, whether or not the piece fits the theme, and whether or not including the work will strengthen the exhibit as a whole, being sure to include a variety of styles and media by a diverse group of artists to represent the diversity in the Nashville community. Depending on the sizes of the work submitted, we'll accept between 35 and 40 pieces. Artworks will be selected in late January, and artists notified shortly thereafter. The install will take place within the first 2 weeks of February. We're going to schedule a single day in February on which all artists or their representatives may hand deliver their works to GEODIS Park. This is a 1-day drop-off period. It's a full day. We cannot accept shipments. We also can't make individual appointments for drop-offs. GEODIS Park is a sports stadium. It's not a standard gallery. And so we have to abide by their security protocols. And we also don't have a lot of storage space there. So we want to make sure that your artwork is handled carefully and safely and installed pretty much within 24 to 48 hours of that drop-off period. So it's a tight timeline, but we will inform you of that date when the time comes. The gallery will then open the weekend of February 21st, 2026, in alignment with the home opening day of the Nashville Soccer Club season. So, all that being said, and I know that was a lot of information, but it is all contained on our website at abcnashville.org/opportunities. It's also included in the call for art.
I had a question about a possible diptych. Should there are two photographs, should they be framed together, or do I need to submit them as two different images to be framed together as long as it's sold as one piece? Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, we actually had a triptych last year of three separate pieces, and all three pieces were framed. And what they did was they just sent me they submitted the images, an image of them presented the way they would be displayed. So if it is a diptych and you have your two pieces, just the your initial photo for your submission should be how it should look on the wall, face front. And that's why we allow people to submit more than one photo of each item that they're submitting. So if you want to then, show close-ups of the individual pieces, just making sure that I identify that in the description of the piece that that is what's going on. But that's perfectly acceptable. Can you give us an example of what you mean by Global Voices Local Heart? The bottom line is that the World Cup of soccer is coming to the United States. And on one hand, the Nashville Soccer Club is our team. It's our local team. It's part of our community. But this is the soccer fan community and the soccer athletic community is a much larger international community as well. And we also know that Nashville is the same way. We are a tight community here in Nashville, a big city, small town. And there is a huge number of people from all over the country and all over the world who have moved here, or people who've been born and raised here who also come from all sorts of backgrounds. We're all connected as part of the conversation of what's happening here in our city, but also with a larger global reach. We're part of a global community as well. On this, I just know that over the years, we've had just such a tremendous, wonderful variety of pieces and that have come into the stadium. And it's never been one specific medium. It's never been one specific interpretation of that theme that we've had. Specifically this past year, it was the Heart of Nashville, and we had people just sending in things that represented, you know, personal takes, literal takes on the theme, looking at how individuals in the community represent that theme, like actual real people. Like we had a whole little section of portraits. There were other people who did more abstract takes on what the theme is, and again, with the global versus local, and how that ties together can be the same kind of a thing. So we actually try to create a story in presenting the pieces based on your descriptions and based what we see in it, so that there's a flow to the whole space. All the themes have a tendency to be vague, but that's resulted in some really incredible takes on the idea and very interesting themes and pieces and different twists and turns to look at it. So we appreciate that, and we look forward to seeing what you all have to offer.
Annie, I'll just say to everyone that we really hope that you apply and that you will submit work for the gallery. Like Annie said, Global Voices, Local Heart, any theme that we have is the great thing about it is we can't imagine what your creativity can come up with. And so we start with a theme, but we always find like new and interesting and clever takes on the theme or work that fits in that theme. And so, you're creative people, you're artists who are going to take that and run with it. And so we hope that you will do that. The work will be up for the entire year. So definitely think about the time span and know that this will be in the VIP suites area of the stadium for most of 2026. But it will be featured both in the gallery, on our websites, and on the Jumbotron during games. They feature artists from the gallery. So it's a wonderful opportunity to play a role in connecting the soccer club with the wider community and to tell, an interesting and compelling story about your perspective and where you come from in terms of the theme Global Voices, Local Heart. So we're just excited to see what you submit. Every year we see incredible work by local artists. That's the best part about what we get to do is we get to meet and see the work of so many wonderful local artists and feature that work in the gallery. So we look forward to all of your submissions.